Okay, welcome everyone. This is our fourth open DAO operations call. I know I'm repeating myself. We're recording now. Here, we're just opening up this conversation to the community where we can talk about different DAO tools that can help your DAO to grow, to operate more efficiently, and to scale. We also talk about DAOs that we're funding. And we have Mikey on the call, Devin and Shock that are part of our DAO operations team. And yeah, we're just here to open up the community discussion surrounding DAO operations. And yeah, Devin, if you want to add anything to that we'll be covering today.
Yeah, I lost the rock. Well, I guess I won the rock, paper, scissors contest. So I will be taking some of the lead on the major discussion. But as always, we will go through what we usually do, which is DAO grants, DAO tooling, talk about what's going on our ends, treat this kind of like a meeting for ourselves, which we do every day. And then we'll jump into something we want to discuss with you guys, with every one of the signatories that are currently here. And I guess start, there you go. We'll start with Mikey, if you'd want to talk about DAO grants that have happened this week.
Yeah, of course. There was quite a lot of activity on the talk forum over the past week, and everybody in here, I always encourage everybody to, even if it's not your DAO proposal or a DAO that you are a member of, it's always fun to go onto the talk forum and see what the sentiment's like, what everybody's doing, and just get involved. So I encourage everybody in here to scour that talk forum and just see what's going on. We want, not we, the royal we. Look at harmony. Sorry. Everyone should be looking for feedback, input. I know that if I had a proposal up there, I'd want to see everyone on there telling me what's wrong with it, telling me what's right with it. So I just encourage everyone to always check out the talk forum every once in a while and share your feedback. So that said, there was a flurry of activity on the talk forum, not too much in the way of approvals and funding just yet. This past week, we did approve the LATAM DAO. This is something that Boris and Jose, who I think that most of you in here might know, have been working for a very long time on. And we're very excited about that. You can find more information about that on the talk forum as well. So they were just approved yesterday, which is very exciting. And then in ways of funding that went out, the French DAO and the Portugal DAO completed their coordinate challenge. So $1,000 was sent to their multi-sig treasury. So that's exciting. So well done.
Fantastic. Great job. Hey, Rachel, you have some comments on the Twitter post. Would you share the link there? Just because there's some other people asking, strong minds hold and such.
Let me see. The Twitter post.
Your Twitter post, I believe, about this meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, just give me 1 sec to pull that up.
Yeah, no worries.
Does he want the link to come in here, or does he
want... Tim's in the waiting room. I just submitted him.
Cool. There we go. All problems solved.
Yeah, we should probably start over, shouldn't we, for Tim?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah,
welcome, guys. This is our fourth. So going forward with DAO tooling, something obviously Rachel and I take lead on. And what we have done this week is, today, most pressing, we have a webinar with Commonwealth.
Yep.
So really, if you have the opportunity, 3 p.m. Pacific time, Pacific Daylight, and we'll be speaking with Reese. He'll be going over what Commonwealth is, pretty much doing a whole run through of the service for all you guys. It's a very useful tool, and you'll see why if you show up to the meeting. No spoilers, I guess. And if you have any questions for him, then we will go. We will go. You can ask him. Sorry, I got a message from Sam. I'm like, Sam's not here, and then I realized, oh, Rachel, you're logged in as Sam. Fantastic.
I was like, oh no, everybody clean it up.
What is going on? Sam's out of the office today. We can have fun. No, we have fun with Sam. He's great. And he is taking a well-needed vacation. Just going through the notes. Otherwise, yeah, we have a few DAO calls set up this week. Again, a big goal of ours, not a promise of partnership, but goal is to bring Opolis on board. Opolis, it's waiting on some graph integration that is being completed. And once that is completed, the Opolis will be fully integrated with Harmony, and we will all be able to reap the benefits. If you're not familiar with Opolis, I'm going to go over briefly what it is. No, I know most of you probably are. Opolis is essentially I guess you could call it a union of self-employed workers. If you're 1099 contract, self-employed, you can start your own LLC, S Corp, create an S Corp entity, and then you get paid in crypto. Let's say you work at Harmony, you get paid in crypto, you can funnel it to Opolis, and Opolis sends it to, they create churn and whatever and have their thing going on, give you better health insurance rates. And then you send it to your LLC or back to one of your MetaMask wallets, however you want to pay yourself out. So really useful in paying yourself out from crypto, keeping those tax reportings very, very clear, having proof of employment. So you essentially have a W-2 because you're paying yourself through your own entity. And you can buy a house, rent an apartment, stuff that if you're otherwise paid in crypto or work in this industry, you cannot do. And across the board, if you're moving from, let's say you move from this company to Harmony, and you don't have to change anything, right? The entity that you've created doesn't really care, legally speaking, where that income is coming from. And it's super easy to move around, keep the same health insurance you had, keep that proof of employment, and really awesome tool. John Pollard and those guys, absolutely so brilliant. And they've spent 3 years on this now, making sure it's as great a product as it can be now, and then also getting much better as it goes on. So having on Harmony, obviously you alleviate those gas fees that you don't want to have to pay a gas fee every time you claim your paycheck, and a bunch of other stuff that would be fantastic for not just the internal Harmony team. We're going to love it, but we want to extend that to every
That's so important for Web3 workers, for us to have proof of employment, for us to have benefits. And also something you didn't mention, Devin, is that they help you with your taxes too, and being compliant with taxes. That way you avoid, if you're a corporation, you have an LLC, you avoid bigger fines down the road if you're compliant. So they're really helpful with that, and they do a lot of the work for you. And like Devin said, their team is really great. John Pollard is really amazing, and we're excited to hopefully have a partnership with them.
Yeah, no, they rock. John is so smart. It's wild. Yeah,
we should definitely consider starting maybe like a pre-list, or like the list for the first DAOs to onboard, right? Like if you have a DAO, matter of fact, I'll start that form up while we're here. If you have a DAO, and we're going to integrate this process, right? We want to have, what's your goal for the month, Devin? Have how many people onboarded to help you?
Definitely 10.
10. Okay, so
it's a bit of a process, but it's not too hard.
So we'll stagger that process just so we can get some sample size and everything. And so I'm going to start a form up and I'll post it in the chat. But if you want to be one of those DAOs that really kind of helps us with this integration process, definitely by all means fill that form out, and we love to have you in there for sure.
Yes, and there's a good, it's only US as of now, unless also it doesn't count Michigan or Arizona. Those are 2 states that are not covered.
So real quick, I see Amy's hands up, and I'm not sure, are we saving questions till the end when we open it up for the Q&A?
Yeah, but if it's Opolis specific, I guess.
Yeah.
Amy?
We can have her go now.
Hey,
Hey,
I didn't have a question. Hi, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to chime in. The reason why Opolis would be important for all of us in DAO employment world is because a lot of DAOs don't have legal entities. So if you're being employed by a DAO, you would want to set up your own LLC to protect yourself as a legal shield. And correct, Devin already said that. This is for US-based protection and insurance.
Boom, spot on. Yeah, a lot of uncertainty when it comes to what DAO entities are. You realize only DAO entities in Wyoming and Tennessee at this point, and those don't really match what this industry is looking for entirely. So, and then, Annalisa, did you have something?
Yes. So the way that Opolis work is, this is a question, by the way, is that they guide you to form your LLC in your state, or do you just like form your LLC with a click, in just one click in their website, and like connecting your wallet?
Yeah, so they have a partner. I'm forgetting what their name is right now, but it's like employment something.
I'm
really
sorry,
easy.
my internet sucks.
Oh,
Did I say what I said or
oh, I
nothing?
didn't. We heard you in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just gonna say, in the Web3 world, when you're being employed by DAOs, there are a lot of DAOs that don't have legal entity structure. So if they get sued, then you might be at risk, especially if you're a signatory. Therefore, Opolis is great because you'll set up your own LLC, which protects you as the individual in the DAO employment world. So strongly recommended. And I know, Devin, you said this in the chat, it is for US based healthcare insurance, taxes, and legal shield only.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, thank you very much, Amy and Annalisa. Yes, you just go through their setup. It's just like setting up an LLC and elsewhere. A lot of people do it in Wyoming for the United States for a variety of reasons, DAO friendliness, and then also taxes. And from there, you just use their service. Yeah, when we have this available, we will have an entire course on how to do this. Opolis has already been doing that for years. So,
Yeah.
Shak, I did want to move on to you meeting wise, and then we wanted to move on to a discussion of reporting. But if you have anything specific you wanted to talk about, Shak, now's the time.
I do have something specific I want to talk about. We have probably one of my favorite DAO, most likely DAO tools, but just amazing. I had the honor of meeting with DAO, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm giant on education. The whole reason I came here to Harmony was to develop a at the long win, or at the end of the day, a means for knowing how a DAO is going to be, or the chances that a DAO will be successful, and a metric for how a DAO is doing, like 1 through 100, and that all just comes through education, and that certification style of process. I don't have a better word than that. That's really Web 2, but it's a blue check mark that says, hey, we've gone through the learning process as a DAOist. We're on this DAO, and these other DAOists have gone through a learning process, and now we can be X amount of confident that this DAO is going to succeed moving forward and be productive and sustainable, and everything else that goes along with making a good DAO. And so I had the pleasure, like I said, of meeting with Robin and DAO, and I just wanted to kind of highlight these guys. We're working on getting them the funding right now. These guys have a great platform. Robin is an incredible leader. I'm just going to edify him, but I'd like to let him say something well too. He's an incredible leader, though. He's got a scalable team format, which I'm really a big fan of deploying a certain style of team or a structure of team to your DAOs. But they are able to produce these guidebooks at a very high clip. Just recently, he's been going through making sample guidebooks for a lot of the DAOs in Harmony. That he's going to use to approach those DAOs and make full-on guidebooks. But he's done so many for Ethereum. They're interactive guidebooks. And so they teach your curriculum, and they have unlockables in them. So you connect your wallet, it then verifies your wallet, and it's able to unlock certain parts of Discord and certain communication channels and so on and so forth. Really interactive, really comprehensive, and they're just really well done. And so I don't want to take too much steam off them, but I do want to introduce DAO because he seems to be doing it right. I do think this will be one of the DAOs that we will be looking at is like, hey, this is how you do it, right? And so I might be overshooting the room, but I don't think I am. So, Robert, are you there?
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Like you said so much, it's difficult to say any word after that. First of all, like thanks to the entire team. Like Mikey was the initial one I contacted, right? To grants and all. He's been always supportive, like always responsive. At that stage, all you want is a reply, right, from the team and all. So he's always been there. And Chuck, like he has been always like he gave me time, like listen to like what the project is all about. And today, in fact, later I'll be meeting with him to know more about the project. Same, like got the reply for Devin, and same from Rachel also yesterday night. Last moment, I just came to know about this call like through YouTube videos. I thought like maybe I should join. So I would say like thanks a lot. And I am like really big on DAOs, right? And I believe that's the future and all. Knowing Harmony also believes the same thing. And I came to know Harmony about a couple of months ago, right? And then like every day I know more. I feel so good that I just feel fortunate that I was able to apply for the grant, able to know about the project, able to know about the vision, which is like completely aligned with DAO's vision, which is promoting DAOs and like achieving like maybe 10,000 or like even more DAOs in next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, totally, man. And if you would, I just want to ask you a couple of questions just to kind of get some insight into your process. You said you joined quite a lot of DAOs in the last couple of years, right? And I just want to get some leeway to this, because this is the type of effort that you need to put in when you're really perfecting your DAOist craft or your craft in general. But how many DAOs have you joined in the last couple of years?
Like right now, I am part of like around 100 Discord groups, but like actively, I'm just like maybe in a couple of them, right? But on a high level, I want to engage them. I want to see like what they are doing. So initially, it all started as an education. Like there was no platform. I wanted to understand how DAOs are and how they behave, like how they work and all. Like one is like DAO is like pure technology which we use now, but a lot of NGOs, a lot of co-ops, my local London, Ontario's co-op, that's a DAO, right? Like it's run by a community. It's just that we need to bring them on technology, right? And have them use this technology, and we can like bring their cost down, right? Like they are a DAO. So I feel that we need to bridge both the things. There are already a lot of DAOs which are already there, whom we need to bring on to the technology. At the same time, these are new organizations, new way of working, which we need to promote. I was very excited. I was all writing about the educational content, like talking to these DAO founders, trying to understand how they have been governing and all. So, and after that, I felt like onboarding is a step that's missing, right? Like people, like there are a lot of rewards available, but people don't know how to contribute. Like I'm an introvert. For me, like it's like at times it is difficult to just reach out and ask for that help. Like where do I contribute and all? So if that information is presented in a nice way, right, in a step-by-step format and in a guided format, it would make it very easy for people, right, to participate and earn those rewards and be part of the community, right? So that's what DAO is trying to do.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know about you guys, but I'm falling in love with this guy. Every time he talks, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's that onboarding stuff.
And so stoked when Robin reached out last night. I was like, yes, I've heard so many good things. Like anytime I hear a DAO, it's just followed with just very positive things. So thanks for being here. And we're actually discussing possibly every week, maybe highlighting a new DAO, and at the end when we do our Q&A, giving you all a chance to just talk about your DAOs and what you're working on, because this does get posted to the Harmony YouTube channel. So it might be good to get your DAO some exposure and just get the community more engaged with you guys.
Yeah, maybe 100%. Just one liner. Like I'm working on like Harmony DAOs, writing sample guides, like maybe around like first 10 to 12 guides we are targeting, right? So would be good to like talk in details to the DAO like core members, so that we can just print out like more relevant guides and all, and help like onboard more and more members to the DAOs.
And link us out to resources, provide any resources that you'd want the community to have. I feel like that'd be helpful for your DAO.
Yeah, for sure. And so we got I put a meeting on the books with the Robin a little bit later, I think today. And so I'm excited about it. We'll figure out what resources we need to get you in addition to some cash, so we can get you guys deployed and ready to go. But I appreciate you popping up, man. Yeah, just an outstanding resource, and really the type of DAOist that everybody should be in the looking towards as a somebody they can learn from for sure. So thank you for popping up. As far as the rest of onboarding, I don't think I have anything massive in particular. Actually, shout out to Maddie. I do want to say that. Shout out to Maddie. Basic DAO. Here. Yeah. No, I had a great meeting with Maddie Friday, and we've been in close talks. I actually linked up Maddie and Robin because that right there made my heart flutter as well too. having that style of educational system for basic DAO. And so I'm looking forward to them taking that call too, and hopefully being one of the first ones we deploy. But just know that Maddie's working on some big things over at Basic DAO, and he has my full-on support as well too. So big shout out to Maddie. Elsewhere in terms of onboarding, that's pretty much what we got. Oops, well, we had a phone call. But elsewhere in terms of onboarding, that's pretty much what we got going. Just really working on making that attempt to make this process really fluid for everybody. And I think we were, looking at really just kind of taking an analysis of where we're at and seeing what's been working, what hasn't been working. And I think that is a very strong step to take right now, and a very important one, considering we're kind of on the precipice of the brink right there of getting ready to blow as an organization. So that's all I got. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Robin. You guys bring up a very good point, though, when it comes to, leading with information, right? And collecting that information. And Robin, I'm sure you can attest to the importance of what you've done, which is jump in, let's say 50 some DAOs, maybe more, and get feedback, right? See the metrics that they're reporting on, right? Would you agree that that's maybe essential in?
Yeah, and also like some of the features and all like we're developing and also are based on like what feedback was given, like integration with Discord, like knowing how the guide and all are completed. Also being able to be like one place to show the information and also capture the user information also, like which was a feature added like a couple of weeks ago, capturing user inputs and all. So next feature is again like trying to have workflows like for larger DAOs, because they would want to have multiple DAOs like set up like paths basically. So you have some generic guides to complete, and then you have the specific ones based on the role and all. So yeah, so this is all from community feedback. Yep. And there are a lot of like good projects to refer to. So all we need to do is just learn from them, try to follow the same path, have our learning, and then try to apply our own learnings on top of it.
Yep. So I do think this reaches a point that the DAO operations team was discussing the other day, and that's reporting. What does that look like? And we really wanted to open it up to all of you. What do you think reporting would look like? Because as of now, as it stands, there is not a whole lot, and it is really difficult for, I imagine, it would be hard for any one of you to go figure out what another DAO is really up to without fully joining their Discord. I think that makes sense. And
also to measure metrics too.
Yes. Because truly, as of now, we are all very early to the DAO game, right? This is a very new type of organization. I was writing about decentralized organizations in 2018, and there were maybe 3 DAOs at that point. There were decentralized organizations, right? And this idea, this framework has been around since Friedrich Hayek in 47, but the idea of actually doing this and fundamentally having the architecture and the infrastructure to do so is very, very new. So we're all learning together, and we know that. But what would be a good way that for you, if you were trying to find a new DAO, or maybe trying to give grants to DAOs, or trying to, whatever you're doing, right? Whatever shoes you want to fill and put yourself in. What to you would seem like a good way of getting the collective ecosystem to report on? How would they report? What would that look like? And this is a really important thing, obviously, for what we just stated. We don't know that DAOs are actually, other than theoretically, the better version of organizations, like period, right? They're not period, but we don't know that they are for this area of work or for this way of life. We know that they make people happier because you have more autonomy, mastery, purpose. We know that they're more efficient in a lot of ways. We know that they can utilize smart contracts, but that's all kind of theoretical. And yes, we see people doing it, but can we do it better? And that's where we need to see reporting come into play, right? And just, yeah, so opening it up, how do you see reporting looking like in the Harmony ecosystem? Rick Top, thank you very much.
Thanks, Devin. So just one thing from like a DAO perspective, obviously you guys and Harmony have really had to kind of decide, what you're going to be asking for when you're asking for information regarding grants and stuff. It's a little bit unclear where to find that information. So I was kind of thinking you guys could really do with like like a Twitter profile, so you could drop links on there for people, just so we could find it really easily. I'm currently doing the new funding request for the Creative DAO, and I'm still a little bit uncertain about what we need to include in that. But going back to your question, obviously information surrounding multi-sigs and transactions and payroll and stuff like that, but fundamentally like where the money's being spent, and what the plan is for the funds and how it breaks down, I guess would be one of the main things I'd really look for if it was me deciding. Yeah.
And so question, would that be helpful, I guess, to have, there is, and the DAO operations team is not obviously above any of these DAOs, right? We are not a DAO, but we are just here to help facilitate DAO growth, right? We're at the bottom and you guys are sprouting up. Do you want communication coming from a DAO to the DAO ops and DAO ops to that DAO, or maybe all of those DAOs somehow coming together to communicate all those things to each other, as well as the DAO ops to them as well? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Well, I think from like our perspective, obviously, the reason why we report to Harmony is because, as far as I'm aware, kind of Harmony want to set the DAOs on the right path. So you're kind of saying it would be good to have this information before we carry on funding them.
Yep.
And you're kind of hoping that the DAOs carry on with that after they're kind of sustainable, right?
Yep.
I guess for the meantime, whilst, at least for the core DAOs, which is separate if you're a separate to Harmony. I mean, it would be good just to be able to find all that information really easily. So it wouldn't really matter to us where that information came from, as long as it was readily available. I know there's a lot of posts on Talk and guides, but those change a lot. So if you're going to spend a lot of time doing a funding proposal, you're going to kind of want to know that's the most up-to-date one, because we know that there's regular changes because we're trying to do things the right way.
So Bricktop, I think I know the answer maybe, and I'd like to hear more others' opinion as well. Do you think it's helpful for you specifically to have the DAOs, and maybe call it the core DAOs, or some collection of DAOs, that to have those DAOs be a part of those guideline decision-making and that discussion, so that
yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's really needed, because obviously you guys kind of spend a lot of time speaking to DAOs from different chains, but I think whichever chain you're on, DAOs would have different kind of teething points, and I think Harmony is quite unique, and we might have issues that other chains don't, so we don't always fit into like the way DAO should work, because we're a little bit different than other DAOs. So I think having them as part of like the kind of decision making, or at least having them there, will really help out, because it will help keep the kind of requirements realistic, along the way. And at least,
interesting.
At least if there is problems with meeting a specific requirements, then we can also look for a DAO tool that will help the DAO be able to achieve that through their funding proposals and anything else. So
that's an interesting concept, Bricktop. This is Shakir. I really like that. It's almost a self-governing point, but a communal. I get for lack of a better term, like a UN or something like that. That is not anybody on top of each other, but it's the people reporting, which is an interesting premise to definitely explore and to consider for sure. Probably one of the best I've heard. And so, but in addition to that, when speaking about reporting, I think there's we get this sense that like reporting is important for people outside our DAO, and it's maybe important for the DAO ops team to get metrics and whatever. but I don't really think that provides a lot of incentive as far as for the DAO teams to go as it sits right now. Like it should, but realistically, it might not provide the additional incentive. And I believe that the true incentive and the real benefit for these for DAO reporting comes to the people inside your DAO. I'm a big advocate for income distribution throughout DAOs. Like not just the signatories being on the payroll, but finding groups and methodologies for everybody all the way top down to if they're providing value to have a revenue possibility or income possibility. And when that's in play, or hopefully that becomes in play, but when that's a part of the model, even if it's not, DAO reporting to your DAO members, a comprehensive DAO report. If you look at Portugal DAO, they did an outstanding DAO report. I want to say what DevDAO did a outstanding DAO report. This was on their own accord. Nobody paid them anything. Nobody had to incentivize them or trick them into doing anything. There was no Eye of Newt, Eagles Talon, going on. And so, I think that, when we start really taking into consideration our community and the massive amount of value that comes from reporting properly, so that they know, hey, we can believe in our leadership. We have elections coming up. We want to know what's been going on. I think that's a very important notion to consider alongside the one that Bricktop considered in developing that reporting methodology.
Well said.
Jane?
Yeah, actually, I was just going to say, like, for Beta DAO, we actually posted a March report for our community, and I think it's really good if we can share that with Harmonies. But the problem I'm at is I don't really find a place in the forum to post my March report. So what I did is I posted our DAO's March report under our DAO funding proposal thread, and but I figure it would be much better if we can have a specific place for everyone to post their report, and then to have that kind of engagement. Because for my part, I saw great engagement within the community for our March report, but not much from the Harmony forum. I guess it's because nobody is clicking into those threads and actually reading those reports.
Yeah.
So it seems like the consensus is maybe we should create a talk forum page where we can easily just put our monthly reports for each DAO.
That's a great point. I like that a lot.
Okay.
Rob,
that's so funny that we've been there's no reporting going on, and we have a place to put the reports.
That's why we need to
open up. Yeah, that's why we open it up to the community, and the solution is just right in front of our faces.
because most people, most DAOs are just they have their funding proposal, right? And then it's just updates down. Information
we should
can
have
get
a
lost.
talk forum page.
Information get lost there. I think that's a fabulous idea. I think that will definitely facilitate that somehow.
Let's create it.
Thank you, Jane.
I even think that we can do several. If we're making different segments of the forum, not just DAO reporting, but we can have several different spots in there. Like maybe if you don't have a proposal in, but you have a suggestion, we have a open comment box there, or a poll section, right, where we can take polls amongst DAOs and so on and so forth. Those are all rock solid ideas if we're in that same vein.
Robin or Bricktop, I forget who.
Yeah, I think one would be first seeing having 4 or 5 buckets, different buckets of DAOs, right? Some could be pure DAOs which are doing for just good and all. Other would be business oriented DAOs and all, right? So maybe trying to first have 4 or 5 buckets and keep the process as light as possible. A simple process could be each of the DAOs, they meet every week for 5 minutes. They just have one page, one page on the slide deck to share what their milestones were, and other is what they've achieved, right? As simple as again 2 pages. We give them 5 minutes or so to present them, and maybe 10 minutes to give them inputs also, because I think everything is new. We all need inputs from one another to make progress. So give that time for community feedback also.
Yeah, Robin, I love that because it's also, you're promoting accountability between DAOs and not just blank openly reporting metrics to avoid, right? And maybe for record keeping, it's now we can all see what's going on, and that accountability is really, really important in decentralization, right? We don't want to create a censored society. So the other side of that is creating an accountable one. I absolutely love that.
Yes, DAO accountability.
Stop, Michael.
Okay.
That was actually really good. Bricktop, did you have something else you wanted to chime in?
Yeah, so obviously having the accountability and the funding transparent is really important. I think as well, just for an example, I was working on the creative DAO notion, along with the community DAO's been working on one and some of the other core DAOs. I think having the funding information somewhere where people can find it, along with all the other information for the DAO, like having one central point where everything is posted. So, if you're putting in another funding request, you can just post, the links that include all the information that's required. Yeah, I mean, you can have those kind of monthly reports, but then you can't really look on month on month or quarter on quarter. And I think having one place where you can see all of the reports back to back and make comparisons about, the history of the DAO and what's happening since then might actually be useful. So I don't know if we really need to look at, do DAOs need, I don't know what format or what platform you want to use, just using Notion as a point of reference, having all the information for the DAO in one place. Going forward, it's just an idea, but it kind of, we want to include all of the funding stuff and all of the the transparency regarding kind of payments in one place, and I think it's a good idea for people to kind of do that with DAOs.
Yeah,
so you can look on history. So
I definitely like the idea of being able to have those segmented. So you have a month, you have a quarter, you have a year. 5 years from now, when we got, God knows how many DAOs on Harmony, to be able to pull that data from, 2022, when we first started, and see a DAO's progression all the way through, would be sick. In addition, with what we're trying to do, really to optimize DAOs and to make sure that DAOs are providing DAOs best practices, right? Like not like, some outer third or whatever, that DAOs are showing the way, leading the way, and then suggesting the way, right? And that's important to reference that information too. I could think of a billion different points of why the information is important to reference. And maybe, I don't know if Notion is a point for that. I'm not a huge Notion guy myself, but I do understand we use it and people like it and whatever. But I think that, some sort of foundry or library or something like that, maybe it's a DAO tool, right? That is developed or being developed. Maybe research DAOs on that. I don't know. But that's a really good premise, and we should definitely look to explore that and see how we can implement it.
I sorry to interrupt again, guys. I just think, obviously, if we're being transparent with funding and we're showing reports, it's great. But what happens once you post it and that post dies and loses the attention? Like, shouldn't it exist somewhere where people can find it, going forward? But yeah.
And not just live there, exist, Bricktop, take it one step further and maybe even have some, I hesitate to say incentive model, because that's maybe not what it would be, more like a pattern of accountability model that, gets other DAOs to look at it when it is posted, right? And give feedback and, again, create accountability so that it doesn't just slip through the cracks and get posted and never be addressed again.
Yeah, definitely. Also, your website's a thing too. Like, we should definitely be posting these on your website. Okay, later, Robin. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming through. But yeah, it's your website should definitely be housing all these. So if somebody's researching your DAO, they get there, you should definitely have a segment in your website that says, "Hey, DAO reports." If you're trying to attract people to your DAO, that's the best way to get them information as well too. But the reporting not only being monthly, also having that as if these DAOs decide that that should be quarterly, and then yearly as well too. I think that kind of freshens it up a little bit. But anybody looking for that past data is probably going to be combing, looking for that data. They're doing research once you're looking for that data, whether on your DAO or not. So I think your website, in addition to some forum or something that's developed, I think would be could suffice. But we should definitely like I said, explore that all the way through. And if anybody has any comments on that or thoughts on that, please by all means drop it into the chat. Yeah.
Martin.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Hey Michael, I hope you're having a lot of sweet tea for me because I can't find any here. Um,
Too much sweet tea.
Excellent. I had a couple of questions. I am part of the Mexico DAO. We just now completed our whole proposal, and now we're going to go for the review. But my question is more on other DAOs. So I'm heavily involved with South by Southwest, and I used to be very heavily involved with Web 2. I now abandoned them and shipped entirely to jump to Web 3. But as a result of that, I get a lot of startups, a lot of people like that coming and being like, hey, we hear you're now in Web 3, what's the deal? And what's the deal with DAOs and all that? And there are two DAOs specifically in Mexico City or two communities rather, who have asked me, hey, like, could a DAO work for us? One of them is a movie theater. They have they've started creating NFTs for music and their film. And they want to figure out how to connect their community, their customers, and their filmmakers and artists to create a community to support themselves, to support all that kind of stuff. So that one that's a little bit more personal for me because my grandfather was really involved in Mexican film. So that's why I decided to help them. The other one that I'm pretty excited about, having worked with a lot of venture capitalists in Web 2, is about 2.5 months or 3 months ago, here in Mexico, one of the top VC firms for Mexico startups had to fire one of their founders because the founder was found to be a sexual predator, and there was a whole problem and mess. They fired him, and then many of the Latina founders who knew me from my Web 2 days came to me and said, hey, could a DAO help us to sidestep VC so that Latinas could fund Latina founders, and we don't have to deal with VC, which in Mexico, there's a lot of machismo and a lot of problems with that. So I was like, yes, I think a DAO could help you do that. So I've been coaching them, working with them. They didn't know anything about Web3 or blockchain or all that, so I've now explained that. So I guess my question here is, how do I best onboard, and I saw your message, Mikey, how do I best onboard these folks and be like, here's the process, do that? Because I mostly have been working with Jose and mostly with Hector on, he did most of the work on the Mexico DAO, and I just helped a little bit, but now I'm helping other people create their own DAOs.
Mikey, it sounds like you already had a response to this.
Yeah, no. So I've like, again, I've known Martin. We met in Mexico City. I had a great time at the Daoist event down there, the Daoist Mexico City. Yeah, like best way to onboard them to become a DAO, onboard them to Harmony. Obviously, I'm going to recommend, it's something that I always preach, is to go to the talk forum first and foremost and get familiar with some of the DAOs that we have here. I also, where do we all communicate as DAOists right now? And that's going to be on Twitter. It's going to be on Discord. I saw a tweet the other day that said a lot of DAOs on Harmony is just a Discord with a bank account, which, the autonomy isn't too prevalent right now, but certainly the decentralized organization is very prevalent. Pretzels. But so, get the best way to onboard, to shift an organization to a DAO is to, first of all, understand it. And we're all still learning. And the best way to do that is obviously together. Invite them into these chats. I know that Shock had a great idea. You know, right now it's only open to signatories, but I mean, I would love to open this up to all DAO members or people that just want to learn about DAOs. Get them in here, have them ask questions during this sort of like open floor period that we have. And then of course, if they're looking for some sort of funding, to direct them just straight to the DAO funding guidelines that Harmony currently has. And of course, if they have any questions, to reach out to myself, Devin, Shock, Rachel, or anybody in our DAO ecosphere.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Mikey. I do want to be conscious of time. We are getting close to the hour mark. I want to share some resources for everyone that's on the call, just to get involved in the discussion surrounding DAO tooling. I'm going to go ahead and share that link in the chat right now. And there you can see, I'll share my screen really quick. Yeah, so here we have an open discussion just surrounding DAO tooling. If you guys want to check out this link, it's a great resource. You can see here, Sam has created a DAO tooling target list. If you guys want to check any of these out and recommend any for us, or if there's any you've heard of that you'd like to use, please let us know. And we also have the DAO tooling matrix here, another really great resource. Just covers like pretty much all the different DAO tools and their categories. So yeah, great resource there. And the general consensus that we're getting from this, basically I asked the community, what is at the top of your priorities when it comes to DAO tooling? Do you have any pain points that you wish for us to address? Or have you used any tools or currently using any tools that you wish for us to specifically evaluate or avoid altogether? And thank you everyone that's on this call or not on this call that has got involved in the discussion. JCR, Bricktop, Suede. And I took the time to respond to you guys and just address each concern. One of the things we're seeing a lot that's been coming up is the multi-sig, and we are working on solutions for that. So thank you guys for voicing your concerns. We're listening and taking action to work on that. So yeah, you can get involved in the discussion there on the link I just sent. Another resource I'll send you guys is the DAO operations page that we've created. Basically, I've made a bunch of one-pagers if you want to go in and learn about a different DAO tool that we're working on. We're working on onboarding. I've included a one-pager with an overview of the project and a demo video. You can see here, so today we have a call with Commonwealth. We have a live training webinar that'll happen at 3 p.m. If you want to go over Commonwealth, what it is, and join our Zoom, I'll go ahead and send you guys this Notion page. Let me go to everyone's meeting. So yeah, that is the link to our DAO operations Notion page where you can go through the different one-pagers of DAO tools that we're in conversation with or have already onboarded. These are some of them here: Rabbit Hole, Opolis, Coordinate, Commonwealth. And today we're going to be on a call with Commonwealth at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time doing a live training webinar. So I'll send you guys that as well in the chat. Feel free to join that Zoom. I'll type the time in here too, 3 p.m. PST, Commonwealth training call. And that's all I got, you guys.
Cool. There are a few other things before that. So yes, the Commonwealth call. Zoom link is in there. We also wanted to address, tax season is upon us. If you live in the US specifically, I'm not a tax lawyer, it's not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. If your DAO received any kind of grant, you should be considering what tax implications that has for you personally, and then the DAO itself. Again, this is where Opolis comes in and is helpful. please address or consult with someone who is a tax advisor. There's no clear answer on this as of now. It totally depends on where you live. And it's just something that should be considered. So please have that be a consideration on your end. And then also, I know, Amy, you wanted to mention something that is happening tonight at 8 p.m.
Hi, yes. We will be launching our first AMA/training workshop for Harmony. It will be about social tokens 101 and minting your own tokens on Harmony mainnet. Gas fees are super cheap. It will be on rip.io, which will be going away in less than a week. Their mint is free right now, so please join us and we can show you how you can mint your tokens. I'm going to paste a link to our Google form, which will have the Zoom link. See you guys tonight. And thank you, Devin. Great call.
No, thank you. I saw you guys had minted on NFT Key. I grabbed one, very exciting. And yeah, very important when it comes to showing DAO membership, minting your token to show that you're a part of it, because you can do a lot with these social tokens, call them NFTs. D-Work, for instance, will only allow certain people in if they have that NFT in their wallet, like a token gate, and token gating or mint gating, whatever you want to call it, is getting a lot more popular. And the tooling is becoming a lot better. So yeah, definitely a workshop to attend.
That reminds me too, with D-Work, if anyone on the call is from Bridge Builders or knows about Bridge Builders, they are the first DAO that's actually using a DAO tool that we've implemented called D-Work. So it's pretty exciting. I don't know if we have anyone from Bridge Builders here. Just thought I'd share that.
Cool. I do see one other question.
That's brother.
Okay, cool.
Oh, sorry, it's Kev Kelly's. But hey, just a quick announcement from the DAO. This April 14th, we're actually going to be hosting a beginner's lesson on how to set up your validator. So anybody's welcome to do that, and it's for the Harmony Network. So if there's any DAOs that are interested in creating their own validator, or anyone's interested in doing that personally, feel free to join our validator Discord and tune into the classroom. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Everyone's welcome. The instructors that we will be having is Stronghold's Mind, which is Tim, and Easy Node Patrick. Easy Node, he's the one that created a kind of like a validator tool that it's called the validator toolbox, that you can easily just set up a validator within minutes. So he's very familiar with the setup process, and so is Tim. He's one of our legacy validators. So I encourage anybody who's interested to please participate in our class. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks.
Awesome. And Kev Kelly, a side note, Boris and I were talking with the guys from Storj, STORJ. And I think we'll be doing something with them soon to help spin up validators in like matters of like 3 minutes, and getting that so it syncs, really quick. So know that that is something coming, and we'll be talking specifically with you guys when it does come about.
Yeah, just side note, I just dropped in the chat the Oculus pre-registration form. If you want to be one of those DAOs that are considered to be one of the first onboarding to Oculus whenever we are deployed after the graft issue is done, by all means fill out that form and we will be in contact for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Shaq.
Bricktop, did you have something else?
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously Sam's not here this week, so I'm guessing he's going to be back in the next meeting. It's Sam or Dad or whatever we're going to call him. So we nearly made it. We got like 30 people, 32 people this session. So we've got some new creative DAO governors coming on. If everyone can like send the link to all of the governors you can think about, so we have 50 for next time. So when Sam gets back, we can see his little family growing and make him happy. Cool, guys. Thanks.
Guys, send me emails. Send them my way. We did get up to 37 on this call, so we are getting closer to 50. If you guys are open to it, help us reach our goal of 50 by next week. And any DAO signatories you want to send my way, just have them send their email and I'll get the invite out to them.
And just as a last sentiment signing off, I know Devin lost the paper, rock, scissors, but as a last sentiment signing off, I just want you guys to know that we are actively always, but specifically actively looking for the solutions to the problems that you guys give us, right? To the problems that are on the forum, that are existing in our ecosystem, so that we can have the best DAO program possible. And so it's a big drive of ours. It's a hyper focus of ours, and making sure that the messaging is clear for everybody, so that we can all feel comfortable bringing people to our ecosystem. And so, we'll be rolling out whatever the solutions are and getting community feedback on them, and getting thoughts as far as how to develop those solutions. And so, just like you guys did with the forum and Bricktop solution, it's all just super relevant and super needed. And so, just to have an open channel of communication between everybody, so that we can build the best program support system for you guys.
Thank you, Shock. That's spot on. And we're going to do a lot of talking after this call, I know, with the feedback we just got. Tim, strong minds hold.
Yeah, just real quick. That was a great lead in for me. I just wanted to, we were talking about transparency and funding and the ways to capture that and reporting and all that. And I can't stress enough how important that stuff is. I do appreciate all the endeavors on figuring out DAO tooling and the way forward, but our community is our DAO members for all these different DAOs we're talking about, either the ones that exist or the ones we want to set up. And I'm pretty comfortable in saying that I've got a really good pulse on the community and all the socials. And I would say that if I had somebody ask me today, what do you think the community sentiment is about DAOs? I would say it is negative. And that's my opinion, but I'm pretty ingrained in the community. And I think we should never lose sight of what our community thinks. So as important as DAO tooling is and these other initiatives we're talking about, changing the narrative of our community from negative to positive should be like right at the top. Because without these people, then we won't have functioning DAOs. It'll just be the same 40 people that are on this call that I pretty much recognize, who've been doing this for the past 9-10 months. And we obviously want to get bigger and better. So I would, if anybody in here doesn't have their finger on the pulse of the community when it comes to DAOs, I encourage you to go out in the socials and just watch, or just pop in any of them, Twitter, Telegram, Discord, whatever, Reddit, and just ask, and you'll get an earful from what the community thinks. And I think potentially it's because we haven't been very good in the past on kind of like showing our strategic vision for why we do things. So that definitely needs to change. And I believe I've had some talks with some of you guys, and I think that is about to change really good. But it's so key, because we've got to capture this community and make them understand, or try to attempt to make them understand, how important what we're talking about doing. So I'm not being a negative person right now. I'm just being a realist. I know what I see, and I know who we have to capture to make this better. So I just really challenge us to pay attention to the community. And if I know we like this DAO call, Mike, Mike said, hey, let's see, maybe we can invite other people in here. I don't know. I'm not aware of any forum that we have right now where we just say, hey, community, come in and talk about DAOs. I mean, I understand we'd be opening ourselves up to like the firing squad, but that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to let the community tell us what they feel and have them ask questions. So maybe we come up with something where we allow the community to literally go one-on-one with us, and we get a chance to explain some strategic stuff that maybe isn't out there right now. Thanks. I'm sorry for hogging the mic.
Tim.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well said. Well said.
We're like the DAO Ops team is very aware of the negative sentiment surrounding DAOs right now, and it's something that we all need to work on. This won't come directly from the Harmony Foundation. It won't come directly from the DAO Ops team, although we're trying to figure out how to shift the sentiment again. It's also going to come from the DAOs that are currently deployed on in the Harmony ecosystem. And I think we should definitely bring more people in here. Let's open up the floodgates. That's how we talk. That's how we grow. We're all adults here, right? Well, we've got Devin in here, but
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Devin, didn't you recommend possibly doing a community sentiment report surrounding DAOs and DAO tooling? I think that's something we should do for sure.
Well, it seems like we're kind of doing one right now. That's time for me. No, do, again, if you need to hop off, that's fine. This is recorded. I do see value in what Stiggery do and Amy and Tim and anyone else who wants to come up here and talk what they have to say.
Randy was up here
Yeah.
for a second too. So if you got a couple more minutes, yeah, guys, if you want to say something, please do. Go ahead, Ben, go ahead.
So yeah, I totally agree with Tim, and that I was also seeing lately in some parts of social media that is also discussed. Yeah, a kind of bad sentiment about DAOs. And what I have seen around there is a lot don't understand the bigger picture of the future of decentralized networks. I mean, Harmony is the foundation, but at the end, it's the network which relies on us, on the DAOs. And maybe we need to educate them. And one thing the community DAO had last week, and thanks to some people from the team, the really awesome Twitter space. And I would love to repeat something with this, with maybe Slush, Sam, and even someone external like Chase Chapman. I was texting her on Twitter, but she didn't reply. But I would love to see a person like her inviting all people from the community and speaking up why the DAOs is needed. Because maybe if they understand the bigger picture behind, then they would also say, oh yeah, I have to contribute. Otherwise, things happening without me. And I'm just staying there and say, oh, why I didn't have the opportunity to vote, why I didn't take it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you as well too. The level of community engagement and knowing the value there. Education, I believe, if we're looking towards, there's no one answer because there's no book on DAOs, right? But looking towards possible solution areas, right? If we see the sentiment, obviously the messaging and the narrative, the transparency being massive, the education being absolutely massive. If we have smarter DAOs going into DAOs, then we're going to have better quality DAOs. Are two big things, and then the third being the community, creating the community guidelines, which means we need to have DAOs that are doing it right, or what we consider to possibly be right, deciding how to govern themselves, right, deciding how they want the reporting to be, when they want the reporting to be, being accountable to each other, and kind of like if they form a DAO type of thing. And I think that is I think that's a really strong sentiment. Those are three pillars to build off of, substantially based on community feedback. I want to say, Tim, the only thing wrong with what you said was that so many people had signed off already, because if we had all 30, we needed all 37 plus here for everybody to hear that sentiment about the community and just where the community's at. And so, yeah, you are right. We are actively addressing this issue. It's probably one of our biggest vertical pursuits. And so we would love to have you engage in that conversation with as much feedback that you have from the community, as much of ear you have to the community as well too. So yeah, just want to say thank you for that.
Well, we'll do Randy, then Amy, then Bricktop, and then we'll close it out.
Thank you so much. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys and hearing all this amazing ideas. I just wanted to quickly jump in. I'm from the Blue Onboarding DAO, and just chime in the sense that I feel that, we as the leaders are definitely taking an active role in the educational side. And from the onboarding side, I think we have to just be mindful that, when someone joins our communication channels, we're not just saying the usual, name, location, superpower, but creating a platform where all of the new members can collaborate and introduce each other, and have maybe like a little intro video of what is a DAO, what are we doing in our DAO, and communicating the core values of the DAO. So we have this ongoing, educational platform that is live to our community. So I know that's one of the ideas that we're brainstorming at the Blue DAO, to make sure that we are communicating that to every new member, and making sure that they're connected to the community as soon as possible and creating that platform for them. So I think that's one of the ways that we can start moving the sentiment from negative, to positive.
Big time. Thank you so much, Randy. And thanks again for the Blue DAO. Lots of Blue DAO up in here today. It's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much for showing up, everybody. Just real quick, you're absolutely right. There was a great tweet that I saw yesterday. And it was, Web3 mastered the login and completely discarded the sign up. So let's think about that as we move forward. Get people involved, get people educated. We got the login. We got the login part of things. But the sign up, we just kind of forgot about. It's awesome. So thank you, Randy. Go ahead, Amy.
Thanks for that, Randy. Yes, I do agree. A lot of people don't know what DAOs are, but even within Web3, a lot of times it's important to listen to the community. So I like the forum idea where you have people voice what they're feeling or why they don't think it's a good idea. So really like the Twitter space, but I also think it's important that Harmony releases some form of communication. External communication is important to tell the world your vision and like why is that vision so powerful. So it should come from both ways.
Wait, what?
So in other words, it's called the external communications team. There should be an external communications team that is handling outward facing communications of why Harmony is choosing a particular strategy. And then internal communications, which is your community, creating a way to listen to your community or have them talk to each other.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's literally my space. So you're speaking my language, 1,000%. When it comes to external and internal communications, I think that we have completely dropped the ball, or we don't have a ball to play with actually. When it comes to those communication channels, particularly if it was up to me, I'd be knocking that out. But I'm trying my best for the DAO Auth program to really get us a voice that's being heard, and to develop a narrative, develop a strategy, develop a tonality and messaging that we can all adopt and then use moving forward. So it doesn't matter if you're talking to a DAO that wants to be a DAO in Massachusetts, or you're in Mexico City talking to a movie theater, the messaging that we're going to be kicking out to the community is all going to be the exact same. And it's going to be very dialed in and unique and crafted and thoughtful and heart-centric and empathetic and everything else that goes along with it. So that is definitely a pursuit that we are working on.
Next week should be the last week, because this Thursday. Okay, all right. I will tell you when we get food again.
Kevin, like one, we're glad that next week's the last week. Very much so.
Give Kellyus, you're off mute. But we can swing it to Bricktop to close this out.
Yeah, so just a really quick one. Obviously Sam's video on DAOs was great. When he was explaining, I think Adrian Robertson did it. I thought the video was perfect, but when he's talking about giving the example of this magic box, I think he was referencing, I think we could really do with another video. Yeah, the happy box. I think we could do with another video, but specifically about Harmony DAOs and how they help. I really kind of feel like, obviously, the whole point of DAOs in my eyes is that the foundation doesn't have time to address everything. So maybe like if there's any people here from different DAOs can do anything about kind of community sentiment, maybe explaining videos or infographics on why Harmony DAOs can be beneficial, I will go away and try and do something and get someone to make something regarding this. But if anyone's up for this, maybe we can have a little competition and we can think of some incentives. Maybe we get to decide if Mikey or Devin is the one that gets to do something terrible for us. So yeah, I think everyone could go away and maybe help the situation by doing something about this and trying to explain things and why we're here. Yeah, thanks guys.
I think that's a great idea, Bricktop. Let's continue that conversation individually. I want to be conscious of everyone's time. I know Mikey has to run soon, so I also typed something up really quickly, you guys, just for a potential talk.harmony.1 post for a DAO reporting page. I'm going to share that with our DAO Ops team, and if we do post that, I'll share that with you all. And also, if you know anybody that wants to join our call next week, please send them my way, have them send their email to me, and I'd be happy to send out the invite. Is there anything else, Devin, Mikey, that we want to cover before we end the call today?
A lot of good stuff today. 3 p.m. Pacific with Commonwealth to help get that infrastructure going. And then 8 p.m. Is it Pacific time, Amy? Or Eastern time? 8 p.m. Eastern time for the social token.
And then 6 p.m. Is the validator masterclass.
Boom. So you could just go back to back. That's a fun night.
Yeah. I'm resending the Zoom link for the Commonwealth live training call at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Feel free to join you guys. And thank you so much for showing up today and just being here and participating in the community.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys.
100%.
Bakery Do, is that, oh, I thought it was a cat, but it's a pug. That's a cute pug.
Tim is asking.
Yeah, she's hungry.
Oh, sorry. Wade is asking for the link to Validator. If anyone has that, Tim or Bricktop, anyone. But otherwise, thank you guys so much. We'll be here next week.
Thanks for coming. Okay.
This chat will self-destruct in 10 seconds.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh.